Venimos a alentar desde muy temprano porque obviamente toda esta gente que está llegando a nuestro querido estadio de hockey, el querido estadio provincial de hockey, viene exclusivamente para más tarde poder alentar a su equipo favorito, a las Leonas, a la selección argentina de hockey, quien recibe también dentro de sus filas a la leyenda del hockey internacional, a la leyenda del hockey mundial, a Luciana Aymar.
Que vibre el estadio con el aplauso para la lucha, para las leonas, para Holanda, para China, para todas las selecciones que hoy nos acompañan, porque Mendoza es un espíritu grande y a todos nos recibe de esta manera. Muchas gracias.
Mirá qué buen momento, Pato, para sacar foto con la selección de Holanda, posando para este Champion Trophy que tenemos en Mendoza. Y ahora la selección de China, vos te das cuenta que esto es algo increíble, que no se vive en todas partes del mundo. Lo que tenemos aquí hoy en Mendoza, Argentina, el Champion Trophy de hockey.
Pato nos interrumpo, los equipos dejan entrar el calentamiento del juego de Team Finish. El juego entre Holanda y China va a comenzar en varios minutos nada más. Pero es realmente grandioso ver que hoy nos acompañan las fans, los seguidores del hockey a nivel local, nacional e internacional. It's great to see so many hockey boys here today.
Esto es una fiesta de color, una fiesta hermosa para el deporte.
Muy bien, vamos a comenzar a leer la lista de los jugadores. Holanda, Subgroup Joyce, de Fredrik, de Bart San, Os Ilemen, Titus Maglos, Dirce Van Nubel Carlin, Belden Tigarak, Van Massakerkai, Van der Mosmushe, Van Makarnier, Van Naomi, Van Helen, Junik Alava, Meyer Marisa, Van Vince Maglokum, Dugude Eva, Gross Mus, Max Vanelli, Decker Coach, Stu Marelli. Ahora China, the players, Don Xiaoyi, Meng Yuan, Xiao Shu, Xiao Yaode, Chu Jiaqi, Meng Ronghu, Xiao Xiuqi, Yang Feng, Meng Yang, Na Wang, Jiang Yang, Xiao Xiang, Xiao Sun, Fan Yu, Bing Bing Wu, Aileen Yang, Yang Li, Xiao,
Yeah, and occasionally I can't watch your mother headset because it goes too
Yang
loud.
Wang, the head coach of China, Yu Yang Zhao. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello everybody and welcome to Mendoza in Argentina for the 21st edition of the Women's Champions Trophy, day one, and we kick off with the Netherlands against China. The 8 teams here in Mendoza have been split into 2 pools of 4. We're starting with 2 games from Pool A. Netherlands, China, then Japan, New Zealand, and then it's the turn of the teams in Pool B. Australia, England, and Argentina against Germany. Well, the teams being led out onto the centre of the park, the 5th time that Argentina have hosted this event, and Argentina won it in 2012, the last time it was staged. It's now a biennial event alternating with the Hockey World League. There is the captain of the Netherlands, Marcia Pauwman. And now that both teams are out on the park, we'll have the national anthems of Holland and then China.
The national anthem of Netherlands. And now, the national anthem of China.
So, the first match just about to get underway. The 2 teams will shake hands. It's the same, well, 7 of the 8 teams that contested the Hockey World League final in Argentina last year. Japan are here instead of Korea. And just a couple of things to tell you about. A little change in proceedings. 4 quarters rather than 2 halves. 4 quarters of 15 minutes each. There are some stoppages, 40 seconds for a penalty corner to allow teams to get their kit on, and also 40 seconds after a goal to allow the teams to reset. So let's have a look at the 2 lineups, starting with that of the Netherlands and the Dutch. Well, they bring a very strong squad here. Only 3 that won the World Cup back in June are not here. Kim Lammers has retired, Jackie Schoenacker is injured, and Kelly Jonker is not selected. There are some youngsters in there. Michelle van der Poels, Laura Nunnik and Valerie Margis are the new faces. Margis overcoming severe diabetes to earn her selection here in Argentina. Now for China, and well, China recently came 2nd at the Asian Games last month, and from that team there are 11 or 12 of the players that played in Korea here to try and do better than their 6th place at the World Cup in Holland. Just a surprise that Zhao Yujiao, the top scorer for China in the Asian Games, and has 62 international goals to her name, has not been selected. Our 2 umpires from Argentina, Mercedes Sanchez, she is blowing on the far side, and on the near side from New Zealand, it is Kelly Hudson. So we're almost ready to get ourselves underway here in Mendoza. And it is Holland who get us underway. And in fact, they've got us underway too quickly. They went on the countdown with the in-stadia announcer rather than with the umpire, and now we are underway with the Dutch playing all in white, attacking the goal to our right-hand side. China all in red, and alongside me in the commentary box for this one, a former Wales and Great Britain international, a medalist at the Olympic Games, Sarah Thomas. Sarah, welcome to Mendoza, and we start with the world champions and world number ones, and on paper they look favourites to win it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, they've brought a very strong team with them here to this tournament, and they will have had a lighter couple of days in preparation for this game. So I'm really expecting them to kickstart their campaign this morning here against China, and hopefully, as always, we see them play the passing game and use the creativity they have in midfield.
And this is the last time for a while that we're going to see the Champions Trophy in this format of 8 teams. When it reconvenes in 2016, it is going to be down to 6 teams, and there'll be a round robin format rather than the 2 pools, and qualification is going to change for that as well, to take into account the Hockey World League results. And as I mentioned, 4 quarters of 15 minutes with 40-second breaks for penalty corners to allow the teams to get their safety equipment on, and also after goals. And now here come the Dutch down this right-hand side, and making good tracks is Van As into the circle, but good defensive work. And it's a long corner which is going to be taken by Velten. Van As along the line. Van As gets a head up, chance for the opening goal, and it's been stuck wide by Ellen Hurg. Good work down the line from Van As, and Hurg had time and probably should at least have hit the target.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be extremely disappointed with that. Van As doing her thing as always down the right hand side and making good ground there, passing a number of defenders, but yeah, Helen Hoch really needed to get that one on target.
Lee in the China goal would have been relieved to see that miss her left hand post, but here is Palman to Dex, who tries to pick up Velten, but she loses out originally, then tries to win it back and gives the free hit away. And Wang comes across to take the free hit. We'll see her at penalty corners, and that's why, because she's got a big flick on her.
Yeah, she has, and they always use that from the left-hand side of the field, but the way China play means they never have any high forwards to get on the end of it, so gone to waste there for China.
Well, it's a very cool day here in Mendoza in the build-up to the competition. The thermometer's been nudging 32 degrees. It was very warm here yesterday, but certainly these teams will be delighted that it's low 20s today. It's cloudy, there's a little bit of a breeze, ideal conditions for playing hockey. But during the week, it's going to ramp up, isn't it, to the final day of pool matches, and then when we get into the classification matches, it's going to be low 30s. It's going to be very, very hot. And the Dutch just pushing China back. Van As thought she might have won the sideline ball, but no, it's China's, and Wang is on it. Is this going long and big? No, it's along the ground, and that's a good little pass, but Zhang can't bring it under control, and it's turned over by Palman. Palman finds De Herder. De Herder's tackled. Dirkse van der Heuvel. And it's away on that far side. The sideline ball to the Netherlands. It's all the Netherlands in these early couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think China are going to find it quite difficult today to get past the Dutch. I mean, they've got an absolutely quality midfield. There's 4 or 5 exceptional creative players in there, and as you can see already, they're all wanting to get on the ball and make something happen. So I think as this game continues, this could become an exciting one from the Dutch perspective.
So down the right they go, and Marsacker trying to pick up Valerie Margis. There's really only one fresh face in this Dutch squad in terms of caps, as China go on a little run down this left-hand flank with Yan, but she can't bring it under control, and it's a 16. In terms of caps, Laura Nunning, number 20, just the 6 caps to her name at 19 years of age. She's the real fresh face, isn't she?
Yeah, she's the only one we haven't really seen a lot of. I mean, many of the Netherlands team now have been around for a while. They've got a new coach in Sjoerd Marijn. He's very much come up through the under-21s and the whole system in Holland, and coached, I believe, Eindhoven men. And yeah, a very strong setup with the coaching staff as well, yeah, and I think that's why he's brought a very good team for his first big tournament.
Trying to stamp his mark on a team that Max Caldas really formed into that, well, from a Dutch point of view, that glorious evening in The Hague back in June, when they thoroughly deserved to win the World Cup. By far and away the best team in The Hague.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
They pushed all before them, didn't they?
Yeah, and if you speak to any one of the Dutch girls, I mean, they'll always tell you how much they love playing under Max Caldas. It was very enjoyable for them, and he allowed them to just play with freedom, which I think any international hockey player would want. So hopefully Sjoerd Marijn brings out the best in him, as did he.
Well, Max Caldas has been bequeathed the men's team, trying to move them from perennial silver medal winners to try and get that golden touch with the men's team.
Yeah, exactly. Silver isn't enough for the Dutch.
But again, he will have to take the men through a couple of gears, because in The Hague, Australia were by far and away the best side in the men's competition. So here go the Dutch looking for this opening goal down this right-hand flank. There's been a little touch on it by Kui, the China captain, and so it's a sideline ball. Nice skill from Herg, but no way through the red wall of defence. And Wang has the sideline ball. Little look up. And she goes the aerial route once more. Pauwman brings it under control. Surely not enough space given to Pauwman by Wu, and it was a late whistle, but the right whistle. Pauwman, a little flick up over the top to Herg. Edged by Zandervaart. That's a 16.
Yeah, I think we can see there from Pauwman's flick over the top, you can see the actual control on it, whereas with Wang, she just wants to get as much distance on it and try and throw it and just create some space for China in which they can breathe. But Pauwman a lot more direct there with what she was trying to do, a lot more controlled, and made sure they went exactly onto Helen Ho's stick.
Well, that's a good tackle from Horst.
Yeah, she was really impressive for me at the World Cup. She was one of the newcomers into the squad and plays a hockey as Stickser, where Janneke Schrockman used to coach. And yeah, she was very impressive in terms of going forward and creating opportunities in the final 23.
Just ticked past the midpoint of this first quarter. Still the Netherlands 0, China 0, but it's been mainly left to right in this first half in terms of pressure. But China with an opportunity to try and build something here, but a complete misunderstanding on that far side, and the ball from Yan nowhere near the intended receiver. Frederick Dex didn't fancy that one coming towards her, bouncing away.
That looked like it came off the line a bit there.
Well, this is a chance for China. And Zhang wins the free hit, which will be taken by Peng. Peng Yang has the support with the captain Kui. Cross comes Velton and up off the Dutch stick. China will come round the back. Not enough speed on that ball round the back, and Holland could comfortably just drift across, couldn't they, in their defence?
Yeah, they cover it nicely across the field, Holland. But yes, in saying that, I'm not sure it's the quickest of pitches. It seems quite slow, and I think it's only been down for a year, so that may have something to do with it. Yeah,
this stadium built for the Pan American Games last year. We're in the foothill of the Andes here, about 1,100 kilometers west of Buenos Aires, the capital of Argentina. Stunning countryside, a bit hazy here today, but the weather, as I say, in the build-up to this competition has been absolutely glorious from a non-playing perspective. And although we're in the foothill of the Andes, we're not desperately high, just 746 meters above sea level, so that shouldn't be an issue as the ball comes bouncing in, and Sombrux deals with it well. Up off the stick of Xi into the leg of Marsaka. And the Dutch bring it away. Velton over the halfway line has Wang Na for company. Velton takes it to herself, almost runs into trouble. And Marsaka. Van Geffen. Palman back to Van Geffen. Space up that right-hand side and plenty of space for Droos to run into. She was found by Van Geffen, but
yeah, I
all
think
a bit too easy there for the Dutch down this right flank.
Yeah, they seem to be wanting to attack the right-hand side a lot, and I can see why. They've got space in behind. The pass then went astray, but I think there's opportunity there for them to use that space, as Van As did in the first couple of minutes, and get around the back and try and get corners. We all know that the corner is a strength of the Dutch team, and I'm sure Palman will be really happy to get our first corner out of the way today.
And Marsaka, who's also practicing her penalty corners in the warm-up. Van der Heuvel. Van Geffen, almost sold short, but does well. And they're in around the back here, possibly the Dutch. Now, can they find the ball back? They can. And it fell to Van der Heuvel. She never really got it under control to get the shot away cleanly. Wrong corner, which Van As will take. Van As drops it short into Herg. Herg once again. Very tight down there, but Herg does well. Gets on the reverse stick, tries to put it into the circle. Can't get past the first line of defence. And Geffen's lost the stick. And good work from Xi. Zhang. To Liang. Spin away from Wang, and she'll get China going down this right-hand flank with Bao.
Yeah, China just gone around the back again there, and like you said earlier, it's very, very slow. Rather than just utilising one pass from the centre defender out to the right half, they're just making that extra pass, and it's just taking that little bit of extra time, allowing the Dutch defence to move across and deal with it easily.
Van As now plays it into Herg. Herg again on the reverse stick. But again, good defensive work from China as the sun comes out for the first time today. Tip round the corner, whistle's gone. The Dutch have the free hit as we enter the final 2 minutes of this opening quarter. Tell you what, that's not a bad save, even though the whistle had gone. Not a bad shot.
A great decision.
Another shot. Herg. Oh, swing and a miss. She wants it on the reverse stick, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Pretty strong on the tomahawk.
Yeah, she is. Unfortunately, not so good on the forehand there, but that was great initiative from Marcia Palman, just taking that free hit nice and quickly, getting into the circle and taking the shot on goal.
Credit to Lee as well in the China goal for making a good couple of saves now.
Yeah, Hoch was in the right position for the rebound, but yeah, just swinging that and missing it. She should at least try to get a nice flick off the ball and get something back on goal.
And Willemijn Vos having to clear up at the back for Holland. Palman, final minute then of the first quarter. No score between Netherlands and China. The opening match of this 21st edition of the Champions Trophy. Oh, and a green card has gone the way of Rostrust. That's chat back, I wasn't sure, but a little break for her and the Dutch short-handed.
Like we can see though, the Dutch have just dropped to half court. There's 12 seconds left on the clock. They're just going to absorb this pressure now before they go in for a quick break.
So 2 minutes between each quarter, 10 at half time. No penalty corners yet either.
No, nothing.
And that is the end of the first quarter. And no score to tell you about. Netherlands 0, China 0. So, Sarah, your thoughts then on that opening 15?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the Netherlands were very one-dimensional in what they were trying to do out there, always trying to attack the right-hand side. And for me, previously, that's why they've been such an exciting team, is because they can threaten from both the right and the left-hand side. Leader Velten is one of the key players in doing that and getting corners.
Yeah, our commentary position right above the Dutch bench, and we can see what Sjoerd Marijn is trying to achieve. He's got the whiteboard out, he's drawing all sorts of little diagrams. You can see him just behind Joyce Sombroek, the number 1 there for the Netherlands. But China, yeah, they've absorbed a lot of pressure. I guess, as you say, the only alarm bells would be down their left flank.
Yeah, exactly. But, you know, China looked like they were pressing for the Netherlands to go that way as well. So whether they think they can handle it down the right-hand side, I'm not sure. But I think Holland could do a lot better in getting around the back. As we can see there, Sjoerd Marijn has said, like, get someone on the baseline on the left-hand side as well as the right-hand side, because otherwise they're just not going to create the opportunities for themselves.
Well, they had that success in the early part of the first half with Van Ast down that right-hand side.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see, a good tackle there from China, and that's what they'll do all day. They'll get low in their tackles and put pressure on you, and that's why I'm suggesting that they move the ball around a bit better.
So Wang Na with that lovely tackle first up. But certainly Lee, the busier of the two goalkeepers. And the team's now coming back out as we get ready for the start of this second quarter. So the Dutch will get us back underway again, still attacking the goal to our right-hand side. And let's see what pans out in this second 15 minutes. It's worth pointing out this quarter format, if people are concerned that an extra 10 minutes or so is being lost from the game, all those short corners and the putting on of kit, when you add all those minutes up, it was coming to about 10 minutes anyway, so they're playing the same amount of time.
Yeah, exactly. And I think utilising the quarter system means that, you know, the aim is to increase the intensity and get more goals. Unfortunately, we didn't see that in the first quarter here, and that's my worry, is that people are going to drop off and not really go out and think, well, we'll just bide this first quarter and then wait until the second and see. But we really need one of the teams now to take initiative and get a goal on the street.
Holland still sitting in this half-court press, happy for China to have it in their own half.
Yeah, that's what they're very good at. They'll drop off into a half court and then all of a sudden they'll be gone and they'll be doing a high press for the next 5 minutes. So it kind of changes the intensity of the game, and one of the players will decide that, and they've gone. So Ellen Hoeks decided then let's go, and the team should back her up with that.
China world number 5s. They've won the Champions Trophy once back in 2002 in Macau. As Peng swings out of a cul-de-sac, and she's got it back. Peng trying to exchange passes with Xi down this left-hand side. It's taken quickly by Kui. It's gone into the circle behind for a 16. They won it in 2002, second in 2003, and in 2006. Beat Argentina in the final in Macau. 3-1 on strokes after a 2-2 draw after 70 minutes.
Wow.
Van Geffen up against Xi, and she has won herself the free hit. Van Geffen shrugs her shoulders, shakes her head. Kelly Hudson has decided that Xi's challenge was fair enough. and the Dutch player infringed. Now there's a good steal from Velton. Velton into the circle. Velton on the reverse stick. Can she find the ball across? Never really had it under control.
Oh yeah, good run there for Lida Velton. Like I said in that short break we had, she is very good down the left-hand side. And interesting you say she never had it in control, because spoken to a number of defenders who say that's exactly how it feels, that she hasn't got it in control. Next you know, she's gone straight past you. Very skillful player. Palman's not on the field at the moment though, so they would have had to go to Kaya had they gone to had they got a penalty corner there.
Kaya van Marsacker.
Palman's just come on now.
Tall defender. Now she's playing on the left-hand side of defence right now. But here goes Dirkse van der Heuvel trying to exchange passes, and they're in a bit of bother now here, China. If van der Heuvel can get the ball across, Palman never really got hold of the shot, and the keeper makes the save, but the ball's still in the danger area before it's cleared by Lee. Not often you see Palman hit a shot like that.
Yeah, I think she thought, oh, this is going to be it before she'd actually made contact. It looked like it taken a little bobble before it got to her, but yeah, not a sweet shot from Palman then, but at the same time, very good defending from China.
There was a chance for a break, but the ball too far in front of Gu. Palman trying to take it up the congested channel. Really, she possibly should have dropped it out. Boss comes to try and intercept, but doesn't get a full stick on the ball, and they've got to be careful here, the Dutch, just trying to slow the game down, trying to get back. A lovely spin from Yu. But she's gone wide, and to ground goes Keitels. Palman.
Yeah, I think the quarters format might suit the likes of China a little bit more actually, because they have a strong start in 11 and then they don't always have a lot of depth in their team. So if they can keep that the strong players on the field for that much longer, it's an advantage to them.
Well, it's more of an Asian style of playing, isn't it? We saw at the World Cup the likes of Japan, Korea, China, where they only maybe do 2 rolling subs in a half in 35 minutes. So you're right, it might allow them to play a more consistent game.
Yeah, precisely. Whereas, like you can see, Holland have made about 6-7 substitutions already in the last 5.5 minutes. So it's very different to the Chinese bench.
Boss. Dirks. De Hoda drops it out. Palman gets robbed of the ball now. Yu, a good rob from her. Can she find support? Yes, she can. This is Wang. Wang out to that right-hand side. Zhu picks out Gu. Gu on the reverse stick into the Dutch circle. And the whistle has gone. Van Marsacker penalised. And the best attacking moment of the match for China. Got to move the ball 5 metres. They're into the circle, but they couldn't get the cross in. And a first real threat from the team in red. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Palman likes to do that holding position between the defence and midfield, and they'll always look to play the ball into her. But she just wasn't aware of the Chinese player creeping up on her. Great tackle and very clever in terms of holding the ball up and waiting for her midfield to help her out there. But China haven't got that much creativity in going forward. They like a structure, they like what they're used to.
Here come the Dutch into the circle, but there to get a stick on the ball is Gu. Here's a chance, good save.
Great save, great save.
And Zan de Waard with the first real opportunity, but Li Dongxiao in the China goal does really well. Kui. It's missed everybody. So first sighter really for the Dutch, well second one I guess with Palman's miss hit.
Yeah, good save though, a very good save. I mean, De Waard wasn't very far from the goalkeeper, so it was very instinctive from her. But yeah, and I think the Chinese have been very good at the defence inside the circle. They're closing players down well and not giving an easy foot or a silly tackle away to give those corners, which they know is a huge threat for Holland.
Thrust into the circle, but China once again get it out. And still no penalty corners for either side.
Yeah, here we can see again Margot van Geffen putting the ball down into the right hand side for Netherlands to attack. It's been a key element of the game today.
Now we might have a chance down the other end though, because round the back goes Liang.
Really good run there, but nothing again come from it. Leaves the ball off her stick a little bit too long. But another great attack now.
Chance here, the 1-2, but Drost ball back in towards De Waard.
I think Drost had the space for herself then to just turn and get into that circle, try and get a corner, try and get a shot on goal, and then maybe you can get on the rebounds.
So round it comes from Van Maasaker into Palman, plays it back to Van Maasaker into midfield. Across it comes, and again a good stick on it by the China defence.
Yeah, very unusual actually to see the Netherlands actually hitting the ball into the circle. They like to play the short game and use the passes, but as I said, they've just been transferring the ball to the right hand side of the field all day, and they really need to try and get down the left hand side because it's getting very clogged up now in the right hand side of the pitch for them.
Good tracking back from Van Ass. And China putting a little bit more pressure on the Dutch defence.
Yeah, they're starting to come out of the game a little bit more, starting to edge higher up the field and win some ball back off the Dutch. All very much in a line though, as you can see with the attack and the midfield, so it only takes one ball to go through the lot of them.
Van der Hivel can't keep it in play. Van Geffen. An aimless ball into midfield. It was 50-50 at best, wasn't it, that ball from Van Geffen?
Yeah, it wasn't. As I said, the Chinese are very, very good at stepping up and putting you under that kind of pressure, and they did very well there again to intercept the ball. They're first to the ball in defence, and that's something they probably train a lot on back home. The only thing I don't like about the way China play is the way that they always hit the long ball. I think if they were to try and play the shorter pass, they you know, they've got skillful players in attack, but they always look to play those long balls and they never quite get on the end of it, or if they do and they mistrap it, it doesn't give them kind of sustainable hockey higher up the field.
So just over 3 minutes of this first half remaining of the Champions Trophy 2014. In this first match, it's Netherlands 0, China 0. A little spin from Velton. It's the better pass. Now, is there a chance here? Down this left flank. A little edge in the China defence, but ushering it out over the back line is the captain, Kui Xuzia, who's been everywhere at the back, hasn't she, for China?
Yeah, she's been really good, really leading by example back there and ensuring up until now they've not conceded any penalty corners.
Van Geffen to the edge of the circle. That's a lovely little ball. And it comes from Ketels. It was a lovely ball around the corner from Roost.
Yeah, the interlink play was much better there. You could see what they were trying to do, playing the short pass in and trying to get around the back a different way. But China again equal to it with the defence.
Boss, Van Heffen. And now Herg has a chance to get in towards the circle. Lovely ball in, the keeper's got a touch to it, and the defence are there to mop up. I think, was that Liu? It was Jiang, in fact, who got the ball clear. The keeper, Li, made the initial save, and then Jiang cleared her keeper's pads. But Holland turning the screw in the final couple of minutes of this first half. Looking for the opening goal in the first game. Pound. Touch wide.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the Netherlands coming into the end of this first half now, as we can see there, again, China's cleared that ball extremely well. Hoag's cut back in rather than continued around the back of it, and there we see the ball's just come up, but it's cleared fine there. It's come up not into a body of a Dutch player, so they've been able to clear it without giving the penalty corner away.
Liang. Liang up against Van Maasaker. Van Maasaker does well. De Waard.
Good
Lovely
take.
ball. Lovely pick from Dirkse van der Heuvel. And off she goes. Van der Heuvel. That was a brilliant pass. Meant for de Herder. Didn't quite come off from Velten, but that was the pass, wasn't it? Just played a little bit too strongly.
Yeah, it's much better, and I think that's for them what they kind of need to look at now. They've gone around the outside, they've not been successful, and maybe therefore they need to attack through the centre. Eva de Grudde is an absolutely awesome player. She's an all-rounder. There's nothing she can't do, and they need to utilise her.
And there is the half-time hooter, and no goals to tell you about in this opening match of the Women's Champions Trophy 2014. The world number ones playing the world number 5, and at half-time, Netherlands 0, China 0. Well, disappointment for the Dutch. I'm sure that they would have been hoping to have gone into the break leading, but China have done a good job on them. No penalty corners in the first half.
Yeah, I think China will be really happy with that in the half-time talk. I mean, the Netherlands will probably be disappointed that they've not been able to get a penalty corner and get Pauwman and Kaya out there and trying to get something towards goal. But for me, they've just been too one-dimensional, trying to attack purely the right-hand side of the field. And I think in the second half, if they're going to be successful, they need to attack both sides of the field and look to utilise the likes of Eva de Grudde.
So half-time here then. Netherlands 0, China 0.
Para que la gente se pueda ir viendo y palpitando lo que va a ser el aliento esta tarde para las leonas.
Javier, te pido unos minutos. Tenemos algo que hacer. La Federación Internacional de Hockey.
that will inspire the teams, but the Argentina fans starting to fill up. They're not playing till much later on this evening, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
7, yeah, 7.
7 o'clock.
Yep.
Argentina are taking on Germany. What a clash that promises to be. But Rijn, just saw him at the edge of screen there, the new coach for Holland, hoping that his side can push on in this second half. China will be very happy with what they've done so far. Coach Cho Myung-yeon has set his side out to play a certain style against the Dutch, and they have been very, very effective at executing that plan. Can they just maybe cause them a few more problems in this second half and perhaps even try and nick a goal? More of the same, would you say, Sarah, from China in the second half?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's really good in terms of what they're doing in defence, but for me, they're always a little bit disappointed in going forwards and actually having the confidence to attack. And I feel that with it being 0-0 at the moment, they'll want to just hang on to that rather than go out and really take the game to Netherlands. So for me, great stuff in defence, really done well there in terms of not giving away any pentacorners. But in the attacking half, I'd like to see more from them in terms of connecting rather than just hitting the long ball time after time.
Umpires making their way back out to the middle. The second half underway in a little under 40 seconds. Ji Xiaoyun playing in the middle of the front line for China. She will get this second half underway. Joyce Sombrug, very experienced goalkeeper, but it's Li Gongxiao who's made the best save of the match so far. And we're just waiting for the whistle and this second half to get underway. Umpires are ready, just waiting for the cue from the technical bench. And we're off in this second half. China attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. Can they get a good start to this second half? But it's the Dutch on the attack first up and dragging her shot wide, Roos. But opportunity there for Holland.
Yeah, good attack there from Eva de Goede and putting a great ball through to get a shot. Again, just not quite catching the shot and just getting a little bit under it, which means it bobbles across the field again. I think this field is pretty unforgivable and you're really going to have to hit the middle of the ball to get a sweet contact with it.
Again, the Dutch favouring that right flank. That's what they favoured in the first half. And Herg trying to make a nuisance of herself. Now a chance here because China have missed it at the first line of defence. But comes to nothing for the time being for Holland. Dex back inside. That's good defending, getting her feet out of the way.
Yeah. She knew exactly what the girl was going to be looking for there and protected her feet very, very nicely.
Zhu Xiaozhu.
China have been much more upright in their defending today. They're normally very low or swinging for the tackle, but they've been a lot more upright. And they probably know that Holland like to lift the ball and 3D skills, and therefore that will be the best form of defence against them. So they've done really, really well from that perspective. I wonder as well if the Netherlands, they often attack around the back and put a little ball in, and normally Kim Lammers is on the end of it putting that ball away, where she's retired now, and so they don't actually have that element. So whether they're missing that or not, difficult to say in the first game, but that seems to be something.
What a finish Lammers had to her career, huh?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
100th cap.
You couldn't have written it, could you?
Gold medal.
Amazing.
In your home.
Wow.
Home World Cup.
Yeah, just fantastic.
15,000 Dutch fans going absolutely nuts. Palman into the 25. Van Ass into the circle, and again, the first touch from China's not a good one. Now Van Ass, well, that come off the leg, it looked like it did. China, I'm sure, might have gone for a referral, but it would have probably been too late. They're under the cosh here at the start of this second half, China.
Yeah, they seem to be missing it on the first defender, but the second one's so close to them in the circle. The Chinese defender's so close to the first defender that she's winning that loose ball. It just looked really easy, didn't it, for China to get out there? It's normally a lot harder to get past the Dutch midfield and defenders.
Whereas China were so assured with their first touch in the first half, it's not happening here. And Palman trying to play in Herg, but Herg's control let her down.
As every attacker or midfielder, you have to believe in that if you just keep going and keep creating opportunities, one of them is going to come, and I feel that that's still going to be the case for the Dutch here. China really aren't threatening forward that much. They're half caught in, and yes, they most definitely are defending well, but I just feel if the Dutch just keep going at it, then they will get a corner or a goal from it in the end.
Well, maybe China going along the thought process, well, if we can keep them out for 15 minutes, then we get a break, and then we start again for 15 minutes. You're not trying to keep them out for 35. Yeah,
exactly, and mentally that's a very good thing for them, thinking, yeah, let's break it down into 15 minutes. Can you Palman getting really aggressive out there, shouting at a team to come back and move forward a bit better. And that's the thing, the Chinese will frustrate the Dutch. They're not used to not getting anything after this amount of time in a game. That's when you can capitalise against them.
Well, here come China on the front foot through Wu. Wu trying to create something. She's won the free hits. Drops it back out to Lee. Lee onto the reverse stick. Into it goes. Little edge off Palman. Long corner. More you're seeing Holland creating lots of chances and missing them, rather than not actually getting the shots away on goal.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not quite connecting, is it? It's either like a missed shot or the goalkeeper saved it. But yeah, China doing well now, spreading the ball around nicely. Just gone in 1 minute from right to left.
And it was quicker, wasn't it? The switch was much quicker on the reverse stick. That's a good little ball. Now here's the opportunity for China. Shot wide of the post. Long corner given.
Yeah, she did well to get that shot off. Her first touch wasn't that good. The ball fell behind her rather than in front of her, and then Wu managed to get a shot off from a really difficult angle. Unfortunately, just went past the post there.
That's the first shot China have had. And they want a bit more. This is Lee. Up off the defensive stick of Velton. Lee. Change of passes, picked off.
Yeah, well read from leader by Velton there.
Berg onto the reverse stick. Oh, that's a sharp save. Keeper's going to have to do well here. Oh, she's done brilliantly well. Dirksy van der Heuvel had almost an open goal, but Li Dongxiao with a double save there keeps China on level terms.
Yeah, fantastic double save there. She was on the floor. You could see Colleen trying to do the right thing and going round the keeper rather than just placing it straight back into her, but she was up quick on her feet, and another great save. You could just see the frustration from Colleen there, not putting that ball away and getting the first goal on the score sheet for the Netherlands today.
Well, Lee got that left, how she got
she did really
her
well.
leg, her bottom leg round in time with the attacker so close. Brilliant piece of skill. Let's have a look at it again.
Here we go, yeah. Ball, first initial shot. You can see Colleen trying to do the right thing, but she got down there extremely well to save that. Again, Colleen doing the right-hand dodge to try and get around it, but actually moving further and further away from goal, while the goalkeeper just sidestepped and saved that nicely.
Here comes Velton and Holland. Free hit to Holland, which Velton takes. De Goede. Boss back to De Goede. And Keffin on this left flank. De Goede's gone at the left leg of Gu and wins the free hit. De Goede. Boss is going to rifle this one down the middle. There's a penalty corner coming here. First penalty corner of the match goes to Holland.
After all the nice bits of short play and then trying to be creative, they didn't get anything and just thumping it in. That hits the Chinese defender's foot.
There is a penalty corner for Netherlands.
See the ball coming in here, and yeah, she just tries to intercept it and try and get with a Dutch forward, and she just ends up hitting her foot.
It's off the foot of Bao. So at the top of the circle, Van Maasacker to the left, Herder to the right. It's gone Van Maasacker. That's really good defensive running from Lee. She was desperately quick out. Van Maasacker never even got to the midpoint of her flick.
Yeah, I was wondering how quickly the ball was going to be injected with the field, but yeah, Pauwman wasn't on the field, so they had Kaya and Eva de Goede at the top. Both got a low drag flick, and Kaya's got a really nice high one as well. But the number one runner, superb run down the barrel, and managed to clear it nicely as well to the sideline.
First penalty corner brings no joy for Holland.
Yeah, first PC and Pauwman's not on the field.
Good control from Yu.
Nice.
Plays it back in field, trying to pick out Jiang, but Jiang can't bring it under control, and here come Holland once more. Sandevard tackled on the edge of the circle by Wang. Zhang, down below our commentary position, has a little look up, trying to find some support. There's nothing really around, and she loses out. And Van der Heuvel, who had that golden opportunity to give the Dutch the lead just a couple of minutes ago, wins the free hit.
Chinese right midfield picked up the ball, then there's absolutely acres of space on the left, and one of her teammates was screaming for it, but she just didn't quite see it. Otherwise they would have been in complete space over there. The way the game's going now, though, with China trying to attack a bit more, that will suit actually the Netherlands, because it'll give them a bit of space in which to attack rather than having all the Chinese behind the ball.
Lovely little touch from De Herder. Finds Drost, De Herder. Back it comes again, top of the circle. Chance here for a wind-up by Van der Poels, but it never really came under her control.
No. It's like a lot of the things that's happening out there today is just not quite under the control.
Pauwman, lovely little ball underneath the shoulder, and Wang, for about the first time in the match, gets a little bit confused, and it hits her feet, and penalty corner number 2.
Yeah. As you can see, Pauwman knows exactly what she's doing running, and that player running in behind causes havoc there as well. Wang's trying to run across to cover her, and in doing so, Pauwman pulls it back the opposite way from which she's been running, and then it just hits her foot. Pauwman's on the field for this one, so...
Yeah, Van der Heuvel was making the run, and Pauwman's at the top with De Herder, but there's going to be no doubt that the Dutch captain, Marcia Pauwman, is going to take this one. She is the left of the two players behind those on the circle edge. Here comes Pauwman. Oh, you're not stopping that. Marcia Pauwman finds the corner of the net, and the Dutch have the lead. A brilliant penalty corner, and deadlock is broken.
Yeah, that's a superb first strike from Pauwman there. Margot van Geffen stopping it at the top, and that's her Den Bosch teammate, so they will have worked on that time after time. And the goalkeeper, like you can see, she doesn't even move. That's so quick and that's so specific. It's so accurate. It's just fantastic goal. See it from this angle, as we can see Palmer putting it in, and there's some pace on that as well. You could hear it actually rattle, the goalpost rattle up here. And that'll give them a lot of confidence now moving on to the rest of the game. More relief probably than anything.
So Marcia Palman opens her account here. That's the Champions Trophy. And more quick ball. The Dutch are on a roll here. Coming 10 minutes or so into the second half. Netherlands 1, China 0. The Dutch looking for a second. And another penalty corner. And having kept the Netherlands out for the first 30 minutes, they've conceded 3 in the last 5.
Yeah, you just felt that if you kept persisting, there was something come from it. You can see some nice stick work there again in tight, and it just touches the Chinese defender's foot again. And they've been so good at doing that all morning, not allowing it onto their feet, and in the last 3-4 minutes they've had 2 or 3 of them again.
It's Kui, the captain, whose foot is hit. Palman. She's going to fancy her chances here. Again, Palman, same spot, same result. That is absolutely ridiculous. The power, the pace, the precision from Palman is incredible.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. I think even that injection was a bit quicker again from Van Ass, so they had even more time on top. But as you can see coming out, she knows exactly where she's going. The power on that is ridiculous, and as you can see, it just stays in one straight line, and it hits the back of the net. The goalkeeper kind of moved this time, but her hands are nowhere near it. That is fantastic. To step up and take 1 of those is amazing, but to step up and take 2 is absolutely superb. She'll be so pleased with that.
Fantastic stuff from the Dutch captain. She is their talisman, and she has put them on the road to victory in this opening game for the Dutch here in Mendoza.
You could see though straight away after the first goal, I think that's the best passage of play the Dutch had done the whole game. They interlinked with 5-6 different players through midfield and forwards and just played it around, which is a lot more like the hockey we saw them play in the World Cup earlier in this summer. That's when they're really good. Yeah, a bit more intensity and tempo in their game now already, just trying to get on the ball, trying to move forward, and unfortunate for China, going 2 goals up, 2 goals down in such quick time there.
Well, coming into this tournament, Palman held the record for most goals scored in the Champions Trophy with 25. She's now moving on to 27.
Very nice. What's the closest to that, do we know?
Bear with me, caller.
It's not inputted in the brain.
So, China, who did so well for the opening 40 minutes or so. Ball's gone in. Lots of shouting from Palman to the umpire, but it's a long corner. Good defensive work in that corner. China looking for a bit more, and they've won themselves the free hit. China coming again ball from Bao, trying to pick out Peng on the right flank.
Yeah, that's what I like about the Netherlands, though, is that they're 2-0 up now, and actually they've increased the tempo. And even when defending the long corner, Palmer was screaming at a midfield to turn around so they could face the ball and try and win it back. Whereas other teams maybe go 2-0 up and then sit off, you know, they want to relax. So this is really nice.
Well, Devar's got away with that one. That was bouncing all over a foot to bring it under control, but the umpires couldn't see it. Lee up that right-hand line.
Yeah, the Chinese dropped off into a half court now. Holland probably quite happy to just play the ball around there and try and entice the Chinese out to them, but China aren't falling for it yet. Actually, Palmer's standstill now on the ball.
Well, in many sports where there are 4 quarters, you call the third quarter the championship quarter, and it's certainly been the case here for the Dutch in terms of the part of the game they've moved away from their opponents.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was saying earlier about them still increasing the tempo, they've just dropped it off there.
And that is the end of the third quarter, a third quarter that has seen 2 goals from the Dutch. They lead by 2-0. Well, Palman, such an inspirational player for the Netherlands, and she stepped up once again.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have we seen her do that in games? Games have been 0-0, 1-1, and then she's just been the edge, you know. And I think for Palman, if our corners are going well, our game goes well also. So it's really important for her to kind of got off the mark in this tournament. And you can hear her vocally coming into the game more as well, asking more from her teammates and shouting at them to be in position. I think that's always a positive for the Netherlands.
From a China point of view, well, plenty to do here in this little break, but they've still got 15 minutes to rescue it. Söder Marijn and Cho Myung-jun, their last little team talks before the 4th and final quarter. As we see some of the slow-mo replays from that third quarter. From a China perspective, they've done ever so well. If they'd managed to frustrate the Dutch for another 15 minutes,
yeah,
would have put a different complexion on this final quarter. I know that's easy to say, but
yeah,
especially against Holland, if you frustrate them,
exactly, that's the one thing.
That is the one thing that goes in your favour.
Yeah, definitely. If they could have done that, then maybe in the 4th quarter they could have tried to have a break and maybe got that goal. But where they stand right now, it's going to be an interesting final quarter.
Quarter 4 is underway, and China find themselves 2-0 down, having conceded 2 very quick penalty corners in quarter 3. 2 penalty corners of the highest quality from Marcia Palman.
Yeah, that's the thing. They came in such quick succession, and also it was a bit like deja vu, wasn't it, for China? Exact same spot, exact same pace, and from the same player, Palman.
But even as a keeper, even if you knew the ball was going there,
yeah, I think the pace is too much.
So the Dutch have got a break on here. 4-on-3 if they can shift it quickly. China return, important touch, but it's still with the Dutch. Van Ass looking for a penalty corner, and the Dutch haven't played to the whistle. Now they're going to refer it. Van der Heuvel wants to refer it, but you've got to play to the whistle.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we go.
Team referral. Let them play the ball and the ball touch the ball of the Chinese player. Okay. Okay, Mercedes, I'm looking for the ball touching the Chinese player.
Carol Machete, the video umpire. Mercedes Sanchez, the umpire down that far side. Now, as the ball came in, that was a really important touch.
This is the one, yeah. Looks from there, the Chinese defender's stick has taken it onto her teammate's body.
Mercedes, the ball touched the China player. It's a penalty corner, and the Dutch keep their referral.
So it is a penalty corner. To be fair to the umpire, the body of the defender was in the way. She couldn't see it, so that's why they've gone upstairs. And the green dot next to the abbreviation at the top left of your screen will remain. Dutch retain their referral. Palman's not on the park. So Van Maasacker and De Herder at the top of the circle. Van Maasacker to the left, De Herder to the right. It's gone to Van Maasacker. A lot slower, goes low. The keeper makes the save. And Van Ask keeps it in play. Back across it comes. Lee goes down, gets the left boot to it this time. Both feet used in this so far. And then she makes the save with the hand. And China keep that one out, and the keeper's having a great game.
Yeah, she's doing well in getting to ground and making those saves. As you can see, Kaya Van Maasacker has gone for a low one. It looks pretty pacey from there, but the goalkeeper dealt with it very well. And then the shot coming in from Hoog. Good for her to take a forehand shot from the side of the circle, but yeah, coming to nothing, unfortunately.
Good interception. Van der Heuvel.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see the pace on Maasacker. I think I watched the FIH promo video the other day, and Marcia Palmer was 134 kilometers per hour, and Tom Bohm was only 150. So there's not much difference in what she can do out there. So
don't forget social media. You can keep in contact with us. We like to hear your feedback. What do you think about the new quarter format of the game? Twitter at FIH_hockey, Facebook FI Hockey, and also YouTube FI Hockey as well. Who do you think's going to win this competition? Can the Dutch add it to their bulging medal cabinets as they win another penalty corner?
Another penalty corner to Netherlands.
And Van Maasacker will get another chance.
yeah, you can see Colleen driving in here, and then as she puts the ball in, it's just touched the leg of the Chinese defender. They've now gone to video referral to question that.
Yes, Mercedes. That ball was dangerous? Okay, you're looking for a dangerous ball, okay?
So, was it above or below the knee? That's usually the...
Looks from here, it just catches it on the inside.
Mercedes, the ball was high, so there is no penalty corner. China keeps the referral, it's a free out. Free out, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't going on goal, seems fair enough.
Yeah, exactly. Coaches always talk about when you're bringing that ball back in, trying to win a penalty corner, keeping the stick on your ball and really forcing it into a foot to ensure you get a corner, because it's a bit in between if you're just trying to lift it and hope for something to happen. So, yeah, I think that's a fair decision.
That's what, I mean, that's the sort of decision the players would expect at that sort of height. Just where the ball was, it wasn't going towards goal, they were trying to pull it back.
Yeah.
Consistency. Well, the bar's now been set.
Yeah, exactly, that's it. I think the difference for Holland is that they like to get the ball in the air, so to them maybe as they train at home that's not that high, but yeah, like you say, the bar's been set so they know what to expect in this tournament specifically.
Wang wins the free hit after Van der Heuvel directs it into her body. Doesn't come to much.
Oh,
lovely
nice
ball from Palman. That's brilliant.
I knew that was coming, that's lovely.
Velton. Velton on the front foot, Velton driving to the 26, Velton into the circle, on the reverse stick. What a goal that would have been. But it's just wide of the mark. But Marcia Palman showing us all her skills.
Yeah, we have to talk about that. What a great take, but she knew exactly where her player was and executed that skill. Again, they play at club level together, and Lida Vivelton has just got absolute pace when she's on the ball. She's
concerning from a China point of view. There's no challenge gone in
no,
from the half.
no,
She's run
no,
from the halfway
exactly,
line.
and they were a lot better at that in the first 2 quarters. They were very condensed. They were tight in the centre, and as you can see, the last 15 minutes or so, they've really opened up. They're allowing the Dutch to attack through the centre and create those opportunities.
Bauman. Sit back once again. She goes to Velton. Van Ass. Little touch around the corner, and Van Geffen's going to be in. That's a lovely little pass. Van Geffen's ball across. Still with Van Geffen, trying to win a penalty corner. Wang does really well. Good defensive work from the China number 2.
Yeah, really well. But again, Margot van Geffen is the left defender, you know, and she's run really hard down the left-hand side to support her teammates and get into that circle and try and get a corner. So
it's taken the Dutch 3 quarters really to get into their groove, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Yes, the goals came in the 3rd quarter, but their style of play is now in this 4th quarter is much more what we would expect.
Yeah, exactly. They like to play through the centre. They like to utilise the 4-5 quality players they have in the midfield and their creativity, and you can see them start to interlink nicely now. I think testimony to China, though, in the first couple of quarters, they were pressing really well and keeping the centre really condensed and not allowing that to happen. Hence, we saw the Dutch having to attack down the right-hand side so much. But yeah, now it's starting to open up nicely for the Dutch. Nice.
Again, a weighted aerial ball, wasn't it?
Yeah, precisely. Controlling the pass rather than just aimlessly trying to throw it as far as she can up the field.
Liang in field to Peng. And the Pols to Van Geffen. Space on that right hand side. There's space all over the park now for the Dutch, really. And they'll be delighted to open up their account with a win. The way this competition is set out, you don't have to finish in the top 2 to go through to the semi-finals, because there's quarter-final crossovers. The first team in Pool A, as this ball comes in from Van Geffen, is in the air, and it's a free hit to the Dutch. The first team in Pool A will play the 4th team in Pool B in the quarter-finals. So there is a chance for teams. Yeah,
there is a chance, but knowing the Dutch, they really hurts them. Not that it doesn't hurt other teams, because it does, but it really gets them if they don't win games. And for them, they'll want to win every single game, regardless of the fact of how they end up in the pool and what that means with quarterfinals, etc. Yeah, there's not much pace in China's game now, is it? They're happy to kind of play it around, and realising there's just under 8 minutes on the clock, they probably need to try and get the ball higher up the field and try and create something from this game.
And the sun comes out, the pitch is starting to dry out, little dry patches appearing now. Is this the chance for China? It's trying to bring it under control while running backwards. Yu does pretty well. Margis gets across. China have the free hit. They're in round the back, or they were in round the back, but it just bobbles away from Yu.
Yeah, managed to get that ball past 2 defenders there to get it to Yu in the circle, but unfortunately losing control of it and going over the baseline. That could have been a really good opportunity for them to attack in there and get something from it.
Into the last 7 minutes of this match. The Netherlands 2, China 0. Marcia Pauman with 2 brilliant penalty corners. Oh, Pauman's had that one picked off though by Xi. Now Xi, has she got the support? Xi's going herself into the circle edge. Support coming on the far post. Oh dear. Well, having got into the circle, the support was coming at the far post. They never managed to get the ball across.
Good to show though, if you run at the Dutch defence, that you can actually make something happen. You know, you've got some pace, you can go at them, but it's just when you get into that circle then trying to gain some control and not thinking, oh, wow, I'm actually in the Dutch attacking circle.
And Marsaka with another little controlled ball. Picks out Nunning. The youngster's on, the 19-year-old, number 20. And again, no challenge coming in until right on the circle edge as Herg bore down on the China goal. Good work from Willemijn Bos to get that ball out of play. And this is Xi. Chopping it out to Lee.
Ball. That's the thing with China, they haven't really got an awful lot when they get into that attack in 23. I mean, they'll try the one kind of skill and then you don't really see a lot more come from them, which is why I think they lack.
Well, we mentioned Zhao, who usually plays at number 21, top scorer at the Asian Games, 67 international goals to her name.
Yeah, a key player. We're not sure why she's missing, are we? No.
Haven't had a chance to
Try and
speak
find out.
to Coach Cho. Van der Poels. Berg. Oh, that's lovely skill.
Yeah, really nice. Straight through the legs of the Chinese defender. They call it panna in Netherlands rather than nutmeg, panna. Oh, there's the swing. There's the typical Chinese defending swing.
Boss. Geffen now on the left flank, on the right flank, sorry, for the Dutch. Pauwman. In really tight space, showing some lovely skill. And Marsaka puts it out of play.
Yeah, China just, you know, they need to take those free hits a lot quicker because now the Dutch are back and in defence and all set up again. They're not really making opportunities for themselves by doing that. Good ball.
That is a better ball, but that's really good defending from Willemijn Bos.
Yeah.
Meeting the ball, not waiting for it to arrive. Coaches the world over, telling their players to do just that. And as a result, the Dutch on the front foot. Sandervaart. Berg into the circle. It's probably not the ball that Kui, the captain, was expecting.
Yeah, dealt with it really well though.
From Jiang, he just played it straight at her rather than clearing it out the circle. Ticking towards the final 2 minutes. Netherlands 2, China 0. Chinese trying to find a consolation goal here if they can. They've actually had a bit more about them in this final quarter in terms of attack than they have in the first 3. Damage done early on in the third quarter when they gave away 4 penalty corners in quick succession. And the first one, Powerman not on the park for. And she was on, scored the next 2. China drops it out to Wang. Wang winds one up. Little deflection off a Dutch stick. Turning into Durst, wins the free hit. Still going, good tackle from Van Ass. Marsaka. Cavalry charges on. So Sarah, final 45 seconds of this match, and the Dutch worthy winners, but plenty of room for improvement for them, and I guess for China as well in the attacking part of their game.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good synopsis. I think Holland will be happy to have got the first win of the tournament, and I think they realise that as the tournament progresses, they'll start to play more and more hockey through the centre of the field, and much more like we're used to seeing as per the World Cup this year. And I think China have been really, really good in defence, and if they can just take that high up the field and actually start to get shots on target and get themselves a chance of getting some PCs as well, we may see a couple of wins for them this tournament.
Is there to be one last score? Velten, oh, she's got some skill on her.
She has, she really has.
She's got some wonderful skill. They're referring it. They're ruthless, the Dutch. Time's run out. They're leading 2-0, but they want a penalty corner. That is the end of the match. And the Netherlands have an opening victory here in Mendoza. They've beaten China by 2-0. Made to work hard in the first half, the Netherlands, but that championship quarter, that third quarter, those 2 penalty corners from Martia Powerman, the difference between the 2, and they will prepare now for their next game against New Zealand tomorrow morning. But you can see Serge Marijn gets his Champions Trophy account open with a win. Full time here then in Mendoza in this first match in Group A. Reads Netherlands 2, China 0.
Yeah, you can see the strike from Powerman from the top, and look how happy and relieved she is to put that one away. Absolute superb power on the shot, and second one here again, exact same, pretty much deja vu. Chinese goalkeeper managed to try and get a stick somewhere up there, but is nowhere near. The pace and power and precision on that is fantastic. Here we go again. Powerman, as you can see, the net's actually rattling from that.
Scored a hat-trick, didn't she, in the final 2 years ago. 3-3 draw, she scores a hat-trick. So important. 5 Champions Trophy goals in her last 2 matches.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think from behind there, that angle from behind is really good. You can see the line of the board just goes so straight, which means it can be as quick as possible, and then just the goalkeeper's no chance of saving that.
Well, next up for the Dutch is New Zealand tomorrow morning. China will take Japan, and then the Netherlands will play Japan in their final match on Tuesday. And China will take on New Zealand. But the Argentinian fans, well, they're going to have a while to wait, not until 7 o'clock, Las Leones. But Serge Marijn, Amy Van Ass, the recovery session starts now. These competitions, they're really intense, aren't they, Sarah?
Yeah.
It's all about preparation and preparing and recovery, isn't it?
Yeah, the recovery protocol now is almost paramount to the teams. The ability to bring themselves back to baseline as quick as possible is a key determinant to success for them, and it'll be really important to see what they do. I mean, for us, we used to have ice baths, compression stockings, and use a product Firefly as well. So we, you know, kind of hitting all targets there, and nutrition as well is absolutely key.
And with the heat that we are forecast coming up, the low 30 degrees, I mean, it was very, very hot just walking around here yesterday, let alone running around for an hour.
Yeah, exactly, and then maybe that's when the quarters come into really good insight in terms of actually substitutions and the way teams are playing and trying to keep up the quality of the game then as well. But yeah, it was absolutely boiling yesterday, and it's not much fun being out there on the pitch in direct sunlight.
China, they'll pick themselves up. Big game for them tomorrow against Japan, because on paper you'd say China and Japan would be the teams you'd imagine to finish third and fourth, and of course finishing fourth you would have to play the team who finishes first in Pool B. So, you know, on paper coming into Pool B that would be Australia, so that's a big game.
Yeah, and I think China and Japan know each other a bit better as well, playing from the Asian Games so much, so you know they have a bit more of an insight into how they play, and probably a bit more confidence with that as well in terms of going out.
So, well, congratulations to Sherd Narain opening his Champions Trophy account with a win. The Dutch are up and running. Who will bring them down? We'll have to wait and see. But they've won their opening game here by 2-0 against China.